Hello, everyone. This is Catrice with the Small Business Project, and today we are talking with Dr. LaTanya White, and she's going to give us some awesome information. I'm looking so forward to having this conversation. I look forward to it every month. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you today?
Thank you for having me again. I'm doing good. As we were just talking in amazement that the end of the year is about to be upon us. So we got a little bit of time to do a lot of work.
Okay. Absolutely. But we're going to have you coming on in the beginning of the year also. But I got to get a hold of you in person, I'm telling you, because there's some stuff that's getting ready to pop out, and we're going to be doing some things at the beginning of the year, and I want you to be a part of it for sure. But as we go forward, I want to take some time and just thank all the people that have been watching these shows, because it is really important that you get this information. We really appreciate that. Also, this has been sponsored by the Lemonade Stand Boot Camp, who is a young organization that is getting ready to come out and start helping our young people become financially literate and also learn how to start businesses. And then we would like to thank all of our sponsors. We have several of them. RWR Live. We've got the Gulf Coast Minority Chamber. We've got WBPQ. And several more. We just appreciate you for coming and being a part of us as partnerships. And then we have our paid subscribers, Wilmer Foundation, the Wilmer Financial Institute. Thank you so much. And then we also have Troy Holt with Blue Cross Blue Shield at this time. And then we also have Veronica Bynum's Dream, where she cooks the most delicious food. So thank you guys for being a part of us. And if you're interested in becoming a part of Bantu Cola's paid subscribers, give me a buzz or check me out on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to tell you about that. Or if you're interested in being a partner, please contact me. Let's talk about partnership, because I want to help you. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to go into talking with Dr. LaTanya White. Hello, Miss. Well, I'm not going to say Miss White. I'm going to say Dr. White. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Listen, I'm still not used to identifying myself as Dr. White. I'd be like, well, who is that? Right?
Let me tell you something. I love that, because sometimes I look at people that have earned that, and it's not that I don't want to take away from the respect that they have, but if you're a person and you're just down to earth, that your titles don't really matter, even though you've earned it. And when we're in public, I'm gonna say it. Yeah. But if we're cool, we're friends, and I'm not gonna call you doctor. I'll be like, you're my girl. You know what I mean? That's my ride or die right there. So I appreciate the fact that you're being transparent with that. Oh my goodness. So let's talk.
Go ahead.
No, you go. No, go for it.
Well, just on a last little thought on that, I tell my daughter, she and I were talking about something, and she was like, well, Mommy, why didn't you just say you're Dr. LaTanya White? And I said, because I want to know how people are going to treat me. Because the word says how you treat the least of these is how you will treat anyone. And I told her, I was like, I want to see how people treat me without knowing what I've done or who I am, because that is how I know how I can engage with you and where the barrier needs to be set up. She was like, I was like, yeah, I learned that the hard way.
And that's a smart way to be, I'm telling you, because some folks, that even if they know what you are, they won't respect you. So that's very true. So I'm going to let you lead the conversation, and hopefully I can jump in with some tidbits here and there.
So I know we talk a lot about, my research background, or for the audience, my research background explores the intersection of racial equity, entrepreneurship, and the racial wealth gap. So I recently relocated to the DC metro area because I needed to be in closer proximity to where policy was being formed. And also I wanted to have more insight on how to inform policy, especially as it affects Black people, Black families, Black communities, all Black everything. So one of the things, and I think this is important for me to share as this conduit, one of the things that is happening on Capitol Hill, and it's kind of like under the radar is people across the aisle, right? Depending on what your political affiliation is, the use of the term Black, and we talked about this with diversity, equity, and inclusion and everything that's coming out of the governor's office in Florida. But that's happening on a higher level as well, like even at the federal level. While they aren't blatantly saying, well, don't say Black. A part of what's happening is people getting a little bit skittish. They're like stepping back from the use of minority, underprivileged, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Even the Minority Business Development Agency, so the undersecretary for the MBDA, this is the only agency that is codified, like in their legislation, it says who are they are to serve. At least I want to say there were 6 different ethnic minority groups: African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, Native Americans and Pacific Islanders, and Hispanic Americans, and Hasidic Jews, if I got them all correctly. So in the legislation, they refer to these specific groups who have been historically underserved, underrepresented. Earlier this year, I want to say maybe it was January of 2023, the MBDA a lawsuit was filed against a federal agency for, I don't think the language said discriminatory practices, but it's similar to what the Fearless Fund is facing. Fearless Fund, Atlanta-based venture firm that's focused on funding Black and Latina business owners, right? They have been sued for discriminatory practices. Affirmative action was recently overturned, right? So all of these different attacks on equity, as Undersecretary Cravens refers to it. So one of the things that I had the privilege of being exposed to, I attended a day on Capitol Hill, so a lobbying day. It was called an advocacy day, hosted by the Bow Collective, BOW. So the Bow Collective is literally a group of Black women who are focused on teaming to make their government contract proposals more attractive. So the Bow Collective hosted this advocacy day in the House building, and one of the House buildings had Undersecretary Cravens come in, some folks from the Department of Commerce, United States Black Chamber, like heavy hitters all across the board. There was one woman, she is the chief of staff for a representative out of Louisiana, Troy Carter. Her name is Ch Davis Johnson. And she talked to us about advocacy. So our discussions, right, we're fired up, we're passionate, we're doing the work, we're providing the technical assistance, but it's the policy that dictates and determines where money goes to provide technical assistance, right? Like how we are able to go to a small business development center, a minority business development agency, SBA program, or women's business center. Policy informs how those agencies get money and how they are to execute. So one of the things that Chanya shared with us, she's like, your advocacy can't be a one night stand. She's like, wow. Yes, we have to have these long-term strategies. One of the representatives from the U.S. Black Chamber said, we look across the aisle at how affirmative action got overturned. It was because our counterparts have this long-term strategy. You can get, this congressman, this elected official. We're going to focus on the judicial branch. We're going to appoint our folks at the Supreme Court level. So whatever you're doing on the local and state level, when it gets to the real powers that be, the people that they wanted to be making the decisions for their party were in place. And these are 20-year strategies, So to Chanya's point about it not being a one-night stand, she really gave us some pointers on how to be an advocate to influence and inform policy. And so I don't know if you can see this.
I can see.
She has this book. The 5-Minute Advocate. And I mean, it's literally 30, 40 pages. But when I tell you, Catrice, I walk around with this book in my computer bag because I'm always like, it needs to be embedded in how I do my work moving forward as a researcher, as an educator, technical assistance provider. So thank you for that. One of the things that I would like for us to unpack and expose the audience to is everyone's right and responsibility to advocacy, but also how to advocate, to have some insights on what your elected officials are doing on your behalf. And are you aware of it? Are you contributing to this legislation that's unfolding? So I want to pause there to really, see how any of that resonates or how any of this lands for you.
So first of all, I've been noticing a lot of the changes that have been happening. I was abreast of what happened in Atlanta with the Fearless. I was really angry, but I realized that it's all a part of the whole, we're going to change everything. We're going to take away their rights. And what it is it's really pulling us back into anti-civil rights and more closer to, because I know that when people miss out on what's going on, it tends to put us so much further behind than we realized. And and when I talk, so I went to a meeting last night. I'm going to say this boldly. And it was the actual event. And this gentleman, he was celebrating his tenure of being in business. And it was a wonderful celebration. And he asked me to speak some words. And I talked about group economics. And I told the crowd, it's really important for us to support each other, even if we don't like each other. Because if we support each other, we build our communities back up. We help each other and we help ourselves. Because when you look at it, boiling down to it, they're trying to make it, and when I say I'm talking about the powers that be, and it's not always white people, it's the powers that be. They're trying to make it so that we will not be able to have anything, so that they can say, see, we gave you the opportunity and you missed it. Well, part of our opportunity is us working together. And as a Black community, we fail on so many aspects of that because we've been trained and taught basically to either combat each other, without helping each other, try to put each other down. We'll tell somebody not to do business. Out of all the nationalities that I've been around, and I kid you not, African Americans, not Africans, African Americans are the only group that will say, I don't do business with Black people because they just don't do things right. You know what? That's not true. There are so many Black businesses out there that do a great job, that does all this great this stuff that you just need. So it's not always all Black businesses. So stop doing that to us, because we're putting ourselves down and we're killing ourselves in the process. And so I say that to say sometimes we have to look past all of the foolishness that we have going on in our community and just work together. And I think that's where the STEM is going to take place. And it has to be a long-term goal, like you said. You have to determine in your heart that you're going to do business with your people, because if you don't do business with your people, nobody else will. And those are my words that I have to say concerning that.